So, apparently, I'm the flavor of the fucking mud, it seems. That's cool. I get that. However, what I don't understand is a simple thing. Why is it you Negroes have problems using reasoning over logic? Now I get it. You don't like my opinion. Who gives a fuck what you like? Because at the end of the day, I don't do these things to please you. I just don't. I really don't give a shit how it makes you feel, because I'm only doing what is in my American right to do. Say what I think and move the fuck on. However, it's strange that I find y'all Negroes, when you have a choice between reasoning and logic, not a choice between reason and logic, I misspoke. A choice between logic and emotion, reasoning and conjecture, common sense over a wild act of imagination, you tend to side with the latter of those choices almost 100% of the time. Now, what bothers me about the majority of you is that you like to pull this card, he's a coon, an Uncle Tom, and a sellout. I'm willing to bet the majority of you don't even know what those words mean. And those of you who know what it means, you do a very fine job using them out of context. In short, I'm being honest with you, most of you need your asses kicked immediately for just abusing the fucking race card. It's personally offensive to me because I actually had a living relative who came through Jim Crow practically from the start of the Great Depression all the way through to the end. And it's morally offensive that everything you decide to make a race issue, you do so not on the facts, not on the fact that there was an actual racial motivation you can prove, which in other words is me saying again on the facts, but simply because of how you feel. It's offensive to me because those people that came up in my grandmother's day, those are real people who dealt with real racism. So I guess you could say this video really is about you guys abusing the fucking race card, how fucking stupid you sound, how idiotic you appear to be, how emotionally driven you are, especially you black men. Holy shit, I have never seen a group of sorry sacks of shit in my life. I'm almost ashamed to admit that I'm a black man amongst you, but then I realize there's a difference between black men who are about something and niggas. There's a complete difference. Now, you can get offended by what I just said. Who gives a shit? I don't. But there's a complete difference. And most of you fall in that category of being niggas. There's a difference. Oh, you can sit here and say to me, but you're black, so the white people will judge you. And why is it you never talk about the shit that white people do? Well, let me explain some logic for you. Before I could tell somebody to clean up their fucking porch, I might want to get the shit off my own. Now, how does that have to do with the race card? Here's where I'm going to make it make sense. Every single thing that goes on, y'all cry racism. And y'all love to throw Trayvon Martin as your fucking poster boy, which pisses me off even further. Because let's be realistic, if you cared about black men being racially profiled and murdered in the street, whatever happened to Usmani Zongo? The African immigrant that got shot. Amadou Diallo. Rings a bell? Sean Bell. Rings a bell? That's right. Most of you fucking sad sacks of shit didn't say a goddamn thing. Every day in this fucking great nation of ours, black men are shot, killed, and most of the time by their own. But we never hear y'all saying this is wrong. There was a recent case in Jasper, Texas, I believe it was, Black man came up missing for a couple of days. Found him dead. How many of you Negroes did videos on that? How many of you Negroes sat there and was like, we need to go do about this? But you didn't. So you sat there and used Trayvon as a fucking poster boy. So I don't know what is more offensive. The fact that you want to keep saying it was a racist charge, it was racism involved when it wasn't, or the fact that you keep parading this boy around as a poster boy, making light of his death and using him to achieve your own fucking ends, as opposed to just learning from it and make sure that another young black youth is not lost the same way. But you won't do that. Of course you won't. It's far too difficult for you to find a lesson in it and move the fuck on. Far too difficult. But let me guess, because I didn't take your side of the argument, I didn't ascribe to the hive mind, I'm a coon and a sellout, and I was automatically defending George Zimmerman. No, that's not what I did. And you know that. But it's far easier for you to spin that bullshit narrative, and anybody with common sense can go back to the video and watch it for themselves. It's far too easy for you to spin that bullshit narrative that has no facts and is grounded in fucking conjecture. Far too easy. See, it's intellectually dishonest of you to tell me you know the facts of the case and yet you still want to argue your point, knowing that you would leave out facts in the argument that clearly debunk your own position. Clearly. And you know who I'm talking about. So if you're watching this video, you can take that how you want. I really don't give a damn. But I thought I should point that out to you. And I'm going to get back to my point because I see I'm going off on a little tangent. It's far so easy for most of you to raise that fucking banner and then you want to pick at me because I'm just calling it the way I see it. I'm calling it as it is. And then I'm actually giving a call to action, which most of you sad sacks of shit gloss over because it's not what you wanted to hear. I'm sick of you niggas playing the fucking race card. I'm sick of it. Point blank period. And I'm saying niggas for a reason. Because it's people like you that do make it hard for honest black people, American black people, to be seen and be judged on the merits of their work. And I know, let me explain this to you. It's not all of you. It's not even a majority of you. It's this one small fucking population that makes it hard on the rest of us. And those people are the fucking poster boy for the black people. So you know what happens? An honest black guy such as myself, who has never robbed anybody, who has never stole from anybody, never sold drugs to anyone, never did anything to harm a living soul, walks into an area minding his P's and Q's, and people clutch their purses because there is some dickhead that looks like me, did the same, walked in that same area and robbed somebody. But when somebody says, well, we're going to well, you know what? I'm going off on a tangent and I need to apologize because I am kind of riled up about this. I really am. It pisses me off because I have to deal with most of you intellectually dishonest sons of bitches on a daily basis, and y'all keep throwing bullshit in my face and talking about I would get more respect. I get respect based on the fact that I'm able to call a spade a spade. There's no half-stepping. There's no shucking and jiving. What's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. A lot of y'all got mad at me because, well, when Tyrone did something to Tommy, I called it out. And most of you conveniently forgot when somebody did something to Tyrone, I also stood up for him. I'm not biased to people when it comes down to the truth. A lot of y'all just want to see me go at somebody because you don't like him. A lot of y'all want me to subscribe to emotion over thought because that's how you think. And that makes you feel accepted It makes you feel that, you know what, there's not one person that can call me out on my bullshit because he's just like me. That I feel like I'm part of a collective. And we're strong. And we're this. And we're that. When in reality, you are the weakest sons of bitches on the planet. And that if this motherfucker now is able to rise above the bullshit, where are we gonna go? A lot of y'all pulled that fucking heartstring card about my son last night, which was the worst thing to do in an argument. Because and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't change my position even for my family. Remember, I'm the same man that said if there was a purging today, that if my family members would be purged, I really wouldn't give a hoot in the holler. So that should tell you, by automation, I'm only dealing with what's factual and what's not. Later for everything else. Now, when of course I say my family, I do mean in-laws, cousins, and so on and so forth. Because my primary family, which is my wife and my son, we're not going down that path. Now, you can sit here and say to me, I'm an Uncle Tom and I'm a coon and I'm a sellout. But I want to point out something to you. You and I are running the same fucking race, but yet you're tripping me up. You and I go through the same fucking struggles, and the only difference is I realize that I can't keep fucking feeling sorry for myself and want to wait for a handout and wait for somebody to feel sorry for me to give me something that I think I'm entitled to. That's the difference. I'm willing to work towards a goal. Most of you aren't. You want to label me an Uncle Tom and a white man's nigga because I ascribe to reasoning and logic? Again, we're running the same fucking race, so I'm going to ask you sons of bitches again, why are you tripping me up? Why do I have to ascribe to your way of thinking when your way of thinking for the last 40 fucking years has done nothing for the black community? Answer me that. If you ask me, most of you sons of bitches are the real sellouts. Selling out to a fucking standard set by somebody else. And you spit the pre-programmed lines that your quote-unquote oppressor taught you to say. Let me tell you some simple truths, black people. The biggest oppressor you have is your own damn selves. Yes, there are white people out here that will not want you to succeed. I'm not going to say they don't exist. I know they exist. I've met quite a few of them in my time. But your biggest oppressors are you. Y-O-U. Look to your left and your right, and then look at yourself in the mirror. The man and woman to your left and your right plus you are your own fucking oppressors. That's right. I'm going to say it one more time. You are your biggest oppressor. You can't even figure out how to fucking keep your own communities clean. But the white man oppresses you. You who ascribe to music that cheapens and demeans your women, cheapens and demeans you, and sets your children up for failure, but I'm the sellout. No, you're your biggest oppressor. Here it is, we can find your ass at the fucking club or online to buy the newest pair of tennis shoes. Can't find your punk ass at parent-teacher night. Can't find your punk ass outside with your kids while they're playing up and down, running the street like mindless fucktards. No. But I'm a sellout. No, I'm not the sellout. But you are your own oppressor. Now, I'm not saying all this to judge y'all. Really, I'm not. But I am saying this because I want you guys to fucking realize where I'm coming from. I am not accepting mediocrity. I won't accept it from my son. I will not accept it from my wife. And I damn sure will not issue it for myself. It's time you niggas figured that shit out for your damn self. Just maybe when you figure this shit out, maybe we can actually get somewhere. A lot of y'all got mad because I sat there and said President Obama was a fuck up. I'm going to tell you a little true story. When I was in the military, I could not say how I felt because you know why? That man was my commanding officer. I could legally be jailed for it. You saw what happened. Marines, soldiers, airmen, sailors, they were getting kicked out of the military just for bad-mouthing the president. But he's your commanding officer. So you have no choice but to mind your fucking tongue. However, as a private citizen now, I can say that the man was a fuck-up. And for those of you who watched or heard the Monty Woodgrain show last night, y'all all realized when I pointed out the failed policies of a president, everybody deflected. Everybody said, but it was Bush's fault. Then I pointed it back to the Democrats again in the Clinton era, and then they deflected it again. And it went on and on and on and on, and eventually the buck got to stop somewhere. I pointed out that you voted this man into office twice, and you're the last person that he gets to. He got 95% of your vote, and what did you get for it in 2 terms? Maybe 1 piece of legislation. And you don't find anything wrong with that? But like I said before, I'm the coon. No. You are your own oppressor. And I'm going to close it with this. If you'd sit here and ascribe to tell me that in 2014, racism is such a big deal, I'm going to look at you and tell you what it is. And here it is. Racism does exist. It's called laissez-faire racism. And you know how this works? They racial profile you, and they judge you. They adjudicate you based on your standards of living as an individual. And then they just say, well, because he's poor and he's this and because he's black, this is what happens. See, this is the difference. Racism didn't die after the Civil Rights Act. It just got subverted. It got quiet. And how this works is that the system of laissez-faire racism doesn't work without your input. You fucking idiot. So see, all this hood shit that y'all try to keep on, all this pro-black, black power shit you on, that's just a fucking tool of the fucking engine that's designed to keep you down. Oh, wait. But didn't I just say you are your biggest suppressors? You look shocked. Now you're learning. See, it's so easy for you to shake off the bonds, your chains and your bondage. Except for you don't want to. You would rather continue drinking the Kool-Aid and being mindless, imprisoned in a system where the jail doors are always open. You just have to fucking walk through it. But most of you are scared to. Most of you are. Now, let's call it what it is. I think, in all honesty, when we bear out to all the facts, y'all keep playing this fucking race card. You do. You play this race card not realizing that the system of racism is so subtle, but it's so easy to break out of for the most part. You just have to do your own fucking part. Now, I know I went off on some tangents because I got a lot of things I really want to say, and I want to keep us under 20 minutes. But here's my final point, and I got to let you go. For all the things you put out, for all the things you keep aspiring to, for all the things you keep saying, well, it's a racist system. You keep saying George Zimmerman killed Trayvon and it was racist. That people on YouTube coon because they won't ascribe to a pro-black position. I want to challenge y'all to do something. Seriously. Go and look. Go look at the last 25 years. I want you to look at everything that you've done in the last 25 years. I want you to look at how you voted. How did your parents vote? What schools you went to? what opportunities you had open. And be honest with yourself. And I want you to look at your present day condition and you tell me, did a white man hold you down or did you hold yourself down?